When the Blair Witch Project was finally released in 1999, the people thought it was a true story. But what was the inspiration behind one of the most classic horror movies? Co-written and co-directed by Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Myrick, the film is about three college students investigating the legend of a witch in the woods of Maryland. The shaky camera work, the creepy nature of the forest, and the fact that the movie features characters who feel like regular people, which all contribute to the film's terrifying tone. While the true horror fans know that the Blair Witch Project isn't a documentary, and that the events did not actually happen to the three actors, what led the filmmakers to craft such a memorable and effective story? While many horror movies have a famous imagery, including one of the most iconic villains from slasher movies like Michael Myers from Halloween, and even Ghostface from Scream, the black and white images of the Blair Witch Project are just as memorable, one of the most unforgettable images. The stick figures which are present in the woods. These are called Twanas, and the Blair Witch includes them in her supernatural rituals. The co-director, Daniel Myrick, told The Guardian in an interview in 2018 that he had began thinking about a stick figure, and that is how the movie began. Myrick said that, "I grew up around the woods and swamps of Florida. For a long time, I had this idea of seeing a stick figure hanging from a tree, and it creeped the hell out of me." Ed Sanchez, a friend from university who ended up co-directing, helped me work this into a 35-page treatment about three students who go missing after heading out into the Maryland woods to make a documentary about a legendary witch. The Blair Witch Project used viral marketing to get people excited to go to the movie theater, and the stick figure imagery looked so real that it's no wonder that the audiences thought that this story could actually be true. According to astonishing legends, the Blair Witch Project is thought to be based on the story of Moll Dyer. She is thought to have lived in the 17th century and have lived alone near Leonardtown. People didn't know much about her and was very mysterious. Moll Dyer was a healer, and people think that a rock in that area has a mark that looks like her hand. A group of men attacked her and were said to have been cursed with terrible luck as the result, which suggested that maybe she was a witch or involved in something much more dark. Joseph F. Morgan penned the story of Moll Dyer in the 19th century, but there wasn't any official record of someone with this name, which means that Moll might not have been her actual name. While the Blair Witch Project is a horror movie with an unnecessary sequel, and fans might prefer the 1999 original to the 2016 reboot, or even any of the other movies, the mystery surrounding the Blair Witch herself is as compelling as ever. She's a horrifying figure that just when someone thinks that they've figured her out, they realize that she will overpower them no matter what. The Blair Witch Project is an early example of the found footage subgenre and also one of the best slow-burn horror movies, and that's all because the sense of tension builds in a natural way. But how were the actors found, and what did they think about filming the movie? In an interview with Vice for the 20th anniversary of the Blair Witch Project, Michael C. Williams, Joshua Leonard, Heather Donahue, and the filmmakers shared what it was like to make the hit horror movie. The article includes the casting call, which asked for women and men 18-25 with natural look. The casting call said that these were extremely challenging roles, to be shot under very difficult conditions. The movie was described as an improvisational feature film, and Williams said that he thought that it could be cool to do improv in a film. Sanchez said that the plan was to have the three actors shoot their scenes in the forest, as if they really were all by themselves out there. He said, "Once they got to the woods, we wanted them to be as alone as possible, so we tried to train them as much as possible as far as filmmaking was concerned." Stephen King found the Blair Witch Project scary, and it was easy to see why, as the ending is brutal. Heather has a particularly emotional end to her arc. She turns the camera on herself and films a brief moment that she wants her family and Josh and Mike's relatives to see, as she knows that they are going to die and thinks that this is all her fault. She is distraught at seeing a t-shirt that Josh was wearing inside a group of twigs and also a tongue, finger, hair, and teeth. Heather and Mike try to find Josh, and his yelling leads them to what was once a house. This is the image that stays with audiences, as there are blood-covered and child-size handprints on the walls, along with symbolism that suggests devil worship. When Heather goes into the house's basement, she tries to talk to Mike, who is staring at the wall in a creepy manner. Heather is attacked by something off-screen, which is implied to be the Blair Witch, and the camera falls to the floor. While the Blair Witch Project is a horror movie that has become less scary, Watching it for the first time is definitely a horrifying experience. The ending suggests that anyone who dares enter these woods will meet the same fate. The Blair Witch Project ending is a masterpiece in how to properly conclude a found footage movie. Too often, these films end in a vague way that is meant to be mysterious and interesting, but instead, audiences wish for more closure. It's compelling not to show Heather or Mike's deaths, as implying that this is what happens is much scarier and much worse. Having Heather show her emotions about the situation that they are all in is also a clever move. While it's not exactly relatable to watch three people camping in the woods and believing that a witch is nearby, since chances are that viewers would say that this could never happen, Heather's feelings are relatable. The fact that Heather, Mike, and Josh die feels inevitable but still shocking. As soon as they begin camping in the woods, this seems to be the only way that their story can end, as the mysterious Blair Witch figure's presence can be felt the entire time. What the Blair Witch Project ending does so well is thoroughly convince audiences that the witch was real and is causing havoc and death. Without this, it would be tough to buy the ending, and it was like, of course, the three main characters could escape, but it never feels like they can get away from the horror in front of them. The ending of the Blair Witch Project directly leads into the 2016 reboot, as James knows that his sister died along with her two friends, and he wonders if he's going to suffer the same fate. The Blair Witch reboot isn't as bad as some think, as it's fun to see the character using cell phones. It has the same ending as the original movie, a divisive choice that some might like and others might think isn't creative enough. The Blair Witch Project ending works, since it still allows for the 2016 reboot to function on its own. Since one main character is related to a character from the original movie, this is the thread that connects the two films, but the characters can stand on their own and do their own investigation of the witch.